Welcome to this edition of ABQ Business Review. I'm your host, Tony DellaFlora. The City of Albuquerque, University of New Mexico, and Bernalillo County are among a number of key partners involved in Innovate Albuquerque, a project to identify, attract, and cultivate entrepreneurs as part of the region's economic development strategy. One of the other key players in this effort is ABQid. With me today to talk about their mission and why that involves spending time on ski slopes is board member Katie Rice. Katie, thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Tony, for having me and for talking about ABQid today.
Oh, sure. So tell me about that. What you guys were up at Taos Ski Valley this year. How does that fit into economic development exactly?
No, it's a great question. So as part of ABQid, we launched the ski lift pitch contest at Taos, and the idea there was twofold. Number one, to attract investors from out of state, give them a great reason to come to New Mexico. We have a dearth of capital here in New Mexico, so one of the challenges is to attract more investors from out of state. So we used world-class ski resort, Taos Ski Valley, as a reason to come out. So that was the first part of the plan, the why. The second part was to give New Mexico entrepreneurs an opportunity to make a really meaningful connection with an investor. So the idea was if you spend time chatting with someone on a chairlift, it's a different type of connection than you would make at a conference or in a boardroom.
Yeah.
So the idea was
they can't get away. Right.
It's a captive audience. They can't get away. You have them all to yourself. They can't even look at their phone really because it's cold. You don't want to take your gloves off. So you've got this captive audience for a good 10 minutes. So the entrepreneurs who participated actually pitched their startups on the lift.
Okay.
We had a lineup of 10 investor judges, and so they pitched their idea on the lift, and then the judges chose some finalists, who then pitched over lunch at Taos Ski Valley, and the judges chose a winner.
Great. And was it a local company or who?
It was Taos Mountain Energy Bar. Won the contest.
Okay. Are those already in stores? I think I've seen
Yeah,
those
you can
before.
buy them at Whole Foods and a number of other places.
Great.
They're delicious.
Okay. I want to talk more about that aspect, but for folks who don't know ABQid, explain kind of what your mission is. Where do you guys fit into this ecosystem with Innovate Albuquerque and whatever else is going on here?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have a thriving and expanding startup ecosystem here in New Mexico. And ABQid's role, right now the main role, is we host an accelerator. So we're part of the Global Accelerator Network, which is where Techstars came from. That's kind of a brand name accelerator out of Boulder. But ABQid offers a 12-week accelerator so companies who are accepted, typically early stage startups, go through a 12-week curriculum. So they're given some structure and guidance. They're also provided extraordinary mentors and advisors, and we bring in some great speakers throughout the program. So basically they're given a wealth of resources and a network to take their startup to the next level. And they're also an investment comes with each company within the cohort is offered an investment through ABQid.
And that investment is for them basically to give them the time to do this program?
Yeah, it's seed money to really, it varies, but yeah, basically to take the time necessary to launch the company.
Great. Well, I want to come back to that, but you've got other stuff too. You had mentioned before that you do a series of boot camps, and what's involved. How's that different from the accelerator program?
So it's all connected. The accelerator, if you will, is the full, the big shebang, right? The 12-week commitment for entrepreneurs who are really ready to take their companies to the next level or launch their startup and go to market. And the accelerator itself takes the companies through a lot of customer validation, market testing, so on. If a startup is not quite ready for that, but they're interested, we host a series of boot camps that are basically one afternoon or a day-long session that introduces some of the principles of the lean startup model, but it's not a 12-week commitment. So it's a way for the entrepreneur or the startup to get a feel for what's involved and perhaps flesh out their business model or their idea a bit more before they apply for an accelerator program.
Okay. So it kind of prepped them to
Yeah.
for all that. Now you've got something else called the Startup Weekend, which you've
Yeah,
done.
which is we support Startup Weekend in a number of ways. Startup Weekend is a 2-day or weekend-long event where entrepreneurs are invited to come together and work on a minimal viable product over one weekend.
Okay.
And many of the people, so some of the people who come for Startup Weekend have an idea that they're working on. It also is a great opportunity for those interested in entrepreneurship who are looking for ideas or startups to work on. So the teams join during the early phases of the weekend. And so you may not, if you are participating in a Startup Weekend, you may be working on your idea, or you may be working on someone else's idea and helping.
But the idea, so you're also setting up sort of the network for people, for future projects too, to have connections.
Absolutely, yeah. And you meet a lot of people, there different advisors come in throughout the weekend, and then a panel of judges pick the winner at the end.
Okay. What kind of turnout have you had for these events?
So we've had, different events, different types of, different numbers of people, different crowd. We had a phenomenal turnout for Ski Lift Pitch, and then we had a full house also for a demo day. So that's a great opportunity to connect, is at the end of the accelerator program. Most of the companies present to the community during what we call demo day, where they each pitch their idea, but it's a high energy event and just a lot of fun, showcasing some great local startups.
Okay. Well, I've interviewed Gary Oppedahl for the city's economic development director, who's big on all this and leading the charge.
Yes.
And one of the biggest issues he's told me several times is just getting the average person to realize that they might be the next big entrepreneur.
Right.
Is that how big of a challenge is that for ABQid to get that point across? I mean, what do you do in terms of promoting these programs?
Well, we have a big presence on social media. We try to incorporate different types of programs. So again, Ski Lift Pitch was in that spirit as well. We had a lot of press because it was different. And so I think, attracted some people who weren't necessarily tracking all the entrepreneurship Twitter accounts and other social media avenues. And then again, Startup Weekend is another way to reach out to different folks. But yeah, absolutely, that's a challenge. And I think, in a way, some of these events attract those who are already interested in entrepreneurship. But we're trying to kind of cast a wide net to give everyone, because so many different levels. You have folks who are just so early in their process. They just have some small level of interest, but they're really not sure how they would ever start a company or who they would team with. So we're giving lots and lots of opportunities for folks like that to come join us, come meet other people. So even if they're not ready to launch their own startups, perhaps they could start by working with others, or meeting a mentor or something of that nature, just to get started.
Yeah, and along those lines, and one of the things again that I had discussions with Gary about is this entrepreneurship program is not strictly high-tech oriented. He's always telling me, if you can build a better nail gun, we'd love to talk to you. But you guys are actively reaching out to artists, musicians, other people that we don't maybe necessarily think of as business entrepreneurs. Tell me a little bit about the thinking behind that. Why are you casting that net so wide?
Sure, and absolutely. I think for the accelerator, you do see a lot of tech companies that fit the mold of what we're looking for, but it's certainly not restricted to tech companies. The idea is that companies that have the potential to scale and have some high growth potential are all a great fit for the accelerator, and that can definitely include non-tech companies. And then again, a lot of the boot camps we offer in Startup Weekend, the partnership with Startup Weekend, and even the winner of our Ski Lift Pitch contest was, like we mentioned, Taos Mountain Energy Bar. That's not a tech company, but high growth potential, doing extremely well. Just the company building its brand and growing rapidly.
Well, so it sounds like you're looking for folks who maybe just have a better idea, not in a particular area, that's something, again, that you can build out.
Yeah, that can scale and grow. And so for ABQid, the focus is not on, if you're looking to open a store, that's probably not the right avenue. But if you're looking to grow a business that can scale and grow to perhaps even a national level, absolutely. And that does not have to be tech. That can be a non-tech.
You'd love to launch a Fortune 500 company.
Yes, that's exactly what we're looking to do.
Great. What are I know you've already been doing this for a while. So what are some of the success stories, some of the businesses that have gotten off the ground through ABQid?
Yeah, so we had a number of wonderful companies in the first cohort. Sportscast is a company that went through the accelerator, and they recently launched something called the Athlete Channel, which they liken to a LinkedIn for amateur athletes, especially young athletes looking for scholarship opportunities.
There you go.
InnoBright is a company that spun out of UNM, and they have a faster way to render animation. So they basically save animation studios. I hate to butcher it, but I know they save months, if not years, of time and reduce the cost of rendering animation. So those are probably two of the companies to highlight. I could also mention ItSums is an exciting company that is, if you go to itsums.com, for those of your viewers who like to play on Pinterest, ItSums allows them to take a project and tie a budget to it. And they can tweak that budget up and down to see what the project that they are envisioning would actually cost. And track that budget. So
I'm sure everybody could use that who's in business.
Yes, and it's a lot of fun. I'm actually currently planning my 4-year-old son's dinosaur party on ItSums. So great fun, and you'd be surprised how much money you can spend on dinosaur decorations and dinosaur plates.
But a very practical use for that, so you can see how that could build. Yeah. Well, I know we just got a little bit of time with a couple minutes here, but there is an application process to get into some of the programs. Tell me a little about that, and again, what you're kind of looking for in these applications.
So everything an aspiring entrepreneur or anyone interested in entrepreneurship would want to know about ABQid can be found on abqid.com, including the application for the accelerator. So everything is there. We also post information about the boot camps and various other programs that we offer.
Okay. Now, to expand a little bit more on the application, what are you looking for? What information are you typically needing?
So it's all there. It's really just information about the company. For the actual accelerator, we also ask for a short video of the entrepreneur pitching the opportunity, and it doesn't have to be a high production video, but just something, some video footage of the entrepreneur talking about their idea or pitching it if they're ready for that.
Okay. And
otherwise, it's just information about that.
Yeah, and then this just goes through a panel, or how are the applicants chosen?
Yes, there is a committee that meets and vets the companies and chooses the lineup for the next cohort.
Great. Okay. And again, if you're not quite ready to do this, you can go to a boot camp or one of these other things to get. Which we encourage,
and we certainly encourage everyone interested to look at all the other events and opportunities to plug in and come meet the other folks in town and network before applying to the accelerator.
Great.
Well, I should mention, I'm sorry, we also have office hours every Wednesday from 3 to 5 at the Verge building. Downtown. So that is the first way to plug in, and it's a really wonderful opportunity every Wednesday, 3 to 5. Gary Opedal is almost always there. I'm usually there. The ABQid staff. So it's a great way to meet other investors, business leaders, advisors, and just talk about your startup. Even if you're just at the very early stages and you want to just chat about your idea, you can do that every week, 3 to 5 office hours.
Great. Okay. ABQid. Anybody who's interested in starting a business, this is the place to go.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, again, thank you, Katie. I appreciate your being here today.
Thanks, Tony.
And thank you for joining us on ABQ Business Review. We'll see you next time.